left your glass on the patio table, right next to the book with the torn up label. The morning was cool and the shadows were long, but the timing was right and the feeling was wrong. Now the porch is a furnace, the sky is a glare, and the scent of the summer is thick in the air. I'm watching the white turn to yellow and gold as the story we started begins to unfold. It doesn't take much for the sweetness to turn, just a little bit of time and a whole lot of burn. We were pure in the bottle, we were fresh in the glass, but we sat in the heat and we let the hours pass. Now there's a skin on the surface, a bitter kind of change. Everything familiar, starting to feel strange. I could pour it all out, I could scrub away the stain, but the ghost of the sore is all that will remain. And it's milk in the sun, it's a beautiful waste, the memory of mercy with a terrible taste. We waited too long to come back inside, and the heart is a thing that's too easy to cut and to hide. You can't fix the fever once the cooling is done. We're just two broken people, like milk in the sun. If I'd reached for the handle, if I'd opened the door, we wouldn't be staring at the mess on the floor. But the heat is a thief, and the light is a lie, and some things are meant to just wither and die. Flies are starting to circle, the glass is too hard to hold. We're a long way from the days when we were silver and cold. I'll just leave it right there, let the afternoon win. There's no way to make it ever sweet again. It's turning, it's gone, milk in the sun. I see the shadows stretching long across your face, like a winter afternoon that we can't quite erase. You've been living in the cellar, you've been sleeping in the cold, with a heart that's feeling heavy and a story that's been told. The world turned out its lights and it left you in the dark, searching through the ashes for a single living spark. Well, you don't have to find it, and you don't have to try. I'll be the one to hang the gold back in your heavy sky. Your skin is getting pale from the ghosts you keep around, and your voice is just a whisper that is buried in the ground. I know he left you shivering, I know he took the heat, left you standing frozen on a lonely one-way street. But I've got enough fire to burn for both of us, to turn this bitter iron back into a little trust. Oh, I'll stand out in the driveway until the ice begins to break, and I'll absorb the shiver and the rattle and the ache. If the world is turning black, I'll be your sun. I'll be the morning light when the night is finally done. I'll burn away the fog, I'll dry the rising tide. I'll find the little places where you've tried so hard to hide. It's a long, lonely winter, and the wind is gonna blow, but I'll be the warmth that melts away the snow. I'll be your sun until your heart begins to run. And I don't mind the distance, and I don't mind the burn. I'll wait for every season, I'll wait for every turn. Even if you can't look up, even if you close your eyes, I'll still be the glow that's waking up your skies. that melts away the snow. I'll be your sun until your heart begins to run. Just stay right there, don't move a single inch. I'll hold back the darkness whenever you flinch. The shadows are fleeing, the sky is turning gold. I've got enough light for a soul to hold. Can you feel it? The heat on your skin. I'm letting the morning finally in. The river doesn't whisper, it just swallows up the light. And I'm dressed in all the promises we made on Friday night. I filled my heavy pocket with the stones of your neglect. And I'm drifting through the lilies that I couldn't quite protect. You were the shore I looked for, the solid, steady ground. But you let the water rise until I couldn't hear a sound. Now the reeds are wrapping around me like the fingers of a ghost. In the very place I realized I loved you the most. I'm weaving through the willow trees, a crown of bitter root, searching for a version of the world that still has you. But the current is a velvet hand that's pulling at my hair. And the more I try to breathe, the more I find there's nothing there. They'll say I lost my senses, that I wandered off the track. But I'm just following the current, 'cause you never called me back. It's a graceful kind of tragedy, a slow and silent deed, where the secrets of a broken heart are finally yours to keep.
I'm a girl made out of
the fate of Ophelia. Don't reach for my hand now, don't try to pull me out. I finally found the silence that can quiet every doubt. The water is much kinder to look within your eyes, and there's no room for the weight of all your beautiful black hitting the surface, building into a swirl or crystal swell that suddenly drops into a single low. Underwater, muffled bass note. Of the fate of Ophelia. My dress is getting heavy, the sky is getting dim. I'm losing sight of everything, including the memory of him. Let the petals kind of let the river run. The play is finally over, and the long night has begun. This rosemary, it's for remembrance. I'm writing down the way you take your coffee in the light, and the specific way you say be safe before the night. I'm cataloging every scar and every tiny mole, trying to map the landscape of your complicated soul. Because the edges of the frame are starting to get blurred, and I can't quite recall the melody of every single word. I'm terrified that time is just a thief inside the room, stealing all the roses before they even get to bloom. recorded your old voicemail just to keep it on a shelf, to remind me of a version of the man I was myself. I'm tracing out the signature you left upon the leaves, trying to hold the center while I'm losing every piece. If I don't say it now, it might just vanish into air, like the ghost of your perfume that's still hanging on the stair. I'm desperate to remember how it felt to be the one, before the moon replaced the warmth of everything we'd done. So let me say I love you before I forget the sound, before the heavy silence pulls me deeper in the ground. I'm catching every teardrop, I'm bottling the rain, trying to keep a record of the beauty and the pain. It's slipping through my fingers like the sand inside a glass, watching every second of our forever start to pass. I'm reaching for the memory, I'm holding on so tight, before I forget it in a 2020 searchlight. What was the song we danced to in the kitchen in the dark? What was the name of that old bench in the middle of the park? The details are the anchors, but the chain is getting thin, and I'm scared to see the ending where the emptiness begins. Yeah, let me say I love you before I forget the sound, before the heavy silence pulls me deeper in the ground. I'm catching every teardrop, I'm bottling the rain, trying to keep a record of the beauty and the pain. It's slipping through my fingers like the sand inside a glass, watching every second of our forever start to pass. I'm reaching for the memory, I'm holding on so tight, before I forget it in the 1026 light. Wait, don't leave the room, haven't finished the list. I still haven't written down the way that we first kissed. The ink is running dry, the page is turning white. I'm losing the reflection of everything inside. What was your name again? The one I used to know. Before I forget everything. watch you staring at the stars from the edge of our old porch, trying to find a fire in a cold and distant torch. You always had a traveler's eye, a hunger for the blue, but I was just the gravity that kept a hold on you. You talked about the galaxies and leaving this behind, while I was planning marigolds and trying to be kind. I'm made of clay and river sills, of roots and heavy stone. I didn't know that planet Earth meant being left alone. I've got the red dust on my palms from the work I do all day, while you're 1,000 light years gone and drifting forward. You said this world was far too small, too quiet and too slow, but I'm the one who stayed behind to watch the garden grow. I'm listening to the crickets hum a low and lonesome tune, staring at the footprints that you left upon my moon. You're looking for a brand new sun, a different kind of air, while I'm just breathing in the ghost of when you used to care. But I'm just an earth girl, grounded in the deep, with a heart made of the secrets that the mountains have to keep. I can't follow where you're going, I can't breathe inside the dark. I'm just the meadow waiting for a long extinguished spark. You're a comet in the distance, I'm the soil beneath the rain, living in the cycle of the harvest in the pain. Yeah, you're reaching for the heavens while I'm clinging to the mud, just an earth girl with the winter in her blood. Is it lonely in the vacuum? Is it quiet in the stars? Do you ever look back down and see the wreckage and the scars? Or am I just a speck of dust, a tiny fading green, the smallest part of everything that you have ever seen? I'm watching the dust motes dance in the light, but I'm closing the curtains to bring back the night. The coffee's gone cold and the morning is old, and I'm choking on stories I've already told. I tried to tread water, I tried to stay dry, but the waves of your absence are reaching the sky. The weight of your sweater, the scent on the bed, are anchors that drag me back into my head. I used to be a swimmer, I used to see the shore, but I don't find the strength to reach out anymore. The surface is glassy, the silence is deep, and the promises made are the ones I can't keep. Oh, I'm sinking, just sinking into myself, lost tonight, falling through the shadows, losing the light. It's a slow motion tumble, a quiet descent into all of the ways that never were meant. There's no bottom to find, and there's nowhere to breathe, just the cold, heavy pressure of watching you leave. Yeah, I'm drifting away from the life I should live, just sinking into everything I couldn't forgive. The world is a blur through the salts and the gray, as I watch all my reasons just flicker away. Your name is a stone that I tied to my wrist, and the ghost of our love is a thick, lonely mist. I see people walking, I hear the world roar, but I'm miles beneath what I was once before. In the dark of the deep, it's so peaceful and still, where the memory of you finally loses its thrill. Don't throw me a lifeline, don't call out my name. I've grown quite accustomed to the cold and the shame. It's easier down here, where nothing can break, where the heart doesn't pulse with a permanent ache. I'm making my home in the silt and the sand, 1,000 miles under the reach of your hand. sinking into everything I couldn't forgive. Let the water close over, let the bubbles go thin. I'm letting the loneliness finally win. Down where it's quiet, down where it's blue, just sinking further away from you. Almost there now.
Apenas tempo claro usou celebrating hours last five. I go to sleep and start like.
Step right up and see the man who thought he had it all. The one who built a kingdom just to watch the towers fall. I traded in my heartbeat for a ticket to the shore, to a place where plastic roses are the only things that grow. The posters are all peeling, the colors turn to gray, and the tiger in the cage has simply looked the other way. I'm waiting for the punchline, I'm waiting for the crowd, but the silence in this empty park is getting much too loud. The Ferris wheel is frozen, a giant rusted eye, staring at the vacancy of a dark and hollow sky. I'm holding on to levers that don't move a thing at all, just a lonely acrobat waiting for the fall. Welcome to the carnival of rust and broken glass, where we're waiting for a miracle that's never gonna pass. I'm painting on a smile while my spirit's caving deep, guarding all the promises I was never meant to keep. You were the high wire act, the star under the sun, but you left the grounds forever before the show was done. Now I'm the only one who's left to sweep the dust in this lonely, God-forsaken carnival of rust. I found your ribbon tangled in the gears of the machine, a flash of silk and memory of everything between. The hall of mirrors shows me 1,000 different men, and every single one of them wants you back again. But the glass is warped and cracked, and the image isn't true, just a jagged imitation of the way I looked at you. The cotton candy's bitter and the popcorn's turned to stone. It's a funny kind of party when you're standing here alone. If love is just a game, weekend carnival of rust. Lock the gate, turn the sign to closed until the end of time. The music's gone, the rain is cold. I'm just a story that was never told. Carnival of rust, it's all just dust. It's all just dust. The ballroom's empty, and the candles have all burned away. But I'm still standing here in the ashes of our yesterday. The music stopped an hour ago, or maybe it's been years. I've lost the track of time inside this gallery of tears. You took your hand from mine and walked out through the double doors. But I'm still tracing patterns on these cold and marble floors. I see the fragments of the promises we made, and then we shattered like a million tiny mirrors of the only thing that mattered. I should sit down in the dark and let the bleeding finally stop, but I'm addicted to the rhythm of the way the teardrops drop. I'm spinning in a circle, I'm reaching for the air, trying to find the ghost of you that isn't really there. And I'm dancing on broken glass tonight, trying to hold on to the memory of the light. It's a beautiful when the floor was smooth and gold. Before the lies got heavy and the weather got so cold, we were weightless for a second. We were flying in the dark, but the friction of our falling left a deep and permanent mark. Now I'm stepping on the shards of the forever that you spoke. Every time I breathe, I'm inhaling all the smoke of the bridge we burned together, of the home we couldn't keep. I'm wide awake and bleeding while the rest of the world's asleep. One step for the laughter, one step for the pain, one step for the night we stood screaming in the rain. The edges are so sharp, they're carving out your name in a language made of scars that I'm the only one to blame. I could walk away to safety, I could find a softer floor, but I don't know who I am if I'm not loving you And I'm dancing on broken glass tonight, trying to hold on to the memory of the lie. It's a beautiful disaster. It's a jagged kind of grace to see the pieces of my heart scattered all across the place. Every step is a reminder, every movement is a sting, but I'd rather feel the cutting than not feel a single thing. Yeah, the floor is red and shimmering, a hollow stop design, and I'm dancing on broken glass because it's yours and mine. 1, 2, 3, I'm losing my feet. The rhythm is bitter, the silence is sweet. I'm falling down now to the brink of the version of you that was in love with me. Broken glass, broken me. I'm sitting in the attic where the light is turning gray, trying to capture everything that words could never say. I've got a blank canvas and a palette full of blues, trying to sketch the shape of everything I'm scared to lose. I start with the outline of the way you used to lean against the kitchen counter in a shirt of forest green, but the charcoal keeps snapping and the shadows are too deep. I'm trying to paint a memory I wasn't meant to keep. The colors don't match the way it felt in July. The red is too angry, the white is a lie. looking for the pigment of a heart that's still whole, but I've only got the colors of a hollow in my soul. This is a portrait of my heart since you've been gone, a messy set of brushstrokes in the middle of the dawn. It's a landscape of the silence, it's a study of the ache, a gallery of every single promise that you'd break. There's a crack in the center where the light refuses to go, and a heavy dark texture that the world will never know. Yeah, it's jagged and it's lonely, and the frame is falling apart. Just a cold, still life portrait of my broken heart. I tried to paint your eyes, but the ink began to run. Like every conversation that we ended before we were done. I tried to add some gold for the way you used to laugh, but it looked like a lightning bolt cutting me in half. Now I'm standing in the center of a room of used to be, staring at a version of the man I can't find in me. I'm mixing up the sorry with a little bit of please, trying to find the rhythm in the rustling of the trees. They say that art is healing, that the pain becomes a gift, but I'm just watching how the values and the perspective shift. The closer that I get, the more the image starts to blur, until I'm just a silhouette of the person that I were. I'd burn the whole collection if I thought that it would bring the color back to April and the melody to It's a landscape of the silence, it's a study of the ache, a gallery of every single promise that you'd break. There's a crack in the center where the light refuses to go, and a heavy dark tension that the world will never know. Yeah, it's jagged and it's lonely, and the frame is falling apart. Just a cold, still life portrait of my broken heart. Don't touch the edges, the paint is still wet. It's made of the things I haven't finished yet. Just hanging in the hallway where the shadows are long, a portrait of a heartbeat that's been beating all wrong. Portrait of my heart. I'm sitting in the chair where we used to watch the rain, tracing out the patterns of a familiar kind of pain. I've got your old sweater wrapped tight around my chest, trying to find the heartbeat that you finally laid to rest. The house is like a museum of the things we didn't say. I'm dusting off the forever that you threw away. I should be moving forward, I should be standing tall, but I'm curled up in the corner, waiting for your call. They say that time's a mother, but she'll take you by the hand and lead you from the wreckage to a better piece of land. But I'm not ready for the sunlight, I'm not ready for the day. I'm still tethered to the shadow of the girl who walked away. Across my face, I'm a child of the silence, I'm a prisoner of the words, holding on to nothing just because, yeah. The world thinks I'm a mountain, but I'm just a grain of sand, cradled in the memory of a love that left me unplanned. I saw you at the market, you were buying summer fruit, looking like a person who had finally found their root. You didn't see me watching, and I'm glad you didn't look, because I'm just a messy chapter in a long forgotten book. I wanted to run to you, to tell you how it feels to be the only one who's still stuck between the wheels. But you look so unburdened, you look so light and free, and I was only me. It's a sickness, it's a safety, it's a home I can't deserve, finding all my meaning in the middle of the hurt. I'd rather be this broken than be whole without the ache, because the ache is all I've got of every choice we didn't make. I'm singing to the ceiling, I'm talking to the wall, still waiting for the healing. sand, cradled in the memory of a love that left me unplanned. Just let me stay here a little while, in the dark, in the cold, holding on to a promise that's grown heavy and old. Don't wake me up yet, don't make me be fine. I'm cradled in the love that was never really mine.